Hi guys, it's Emma AITA, your favorite AI slop tuber. Before we jump into today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks so much for your support. Now, let's get right into the video. AITA for refusing to support my friend after years of helping him get back on his feet. I, 31 male, have had the same best friend, Jason, 32 male, since we were both 14. We met in high school, both awkward, introverted kids who bonded over video games, skateboarding, and a shared hatred of gym class. Through the years, we stuck together. College, relationships, heartbreaks, terrible bosses, worse apartments. We were always a phone call or couch away from each other. Jason was the kind of friend who, when things were good, made you feel like life was an indie movie. Funny, loyal, quick-witted, but there was always a storm cloud in the background. His relationship with responsibility. Jason's life has never followed a steady line. After high school, he tried college, dropped out after a year, tried trade school, dropped out after 2 semesters, started a landscaping business, let it die. He's one of those people with 1,000 ideas, big dreams, but no follow-through. His charm always got him in the door, but he never stayed in the room long. I, on the other hand, took the safe road. Studied computer science, got a job in IT, climbed the ladder. I wasn't flashy or wildly successful, but I was stable. And that made me the fallback guy in Jason's life. About 6 years ago, Jason had a bad breakup and ended up crashing on my couch just for a few weeks. That turned into 6 months. I didn't charge him rent. I cooked most nights. He said he was applying to jobs. He even got one at a warehouse but quit after a month. Said it was soul-killing. I understood. I tried to be compassionate, but when he finally moved out, into another friend's place, I felt this huge weight lift off me. That should have been a lesson. But 2 years later, the cycle repeated. Jason got evicted. I had just bought my first condo and, feeling proud and generous, told him he could stay in my guest room temporarily. Again, it dragged on. And again, he floated from gig to gig, always with a good excuse. This time I told him, you need to contribute something. He paid a token amount, maybe $200 a month, but mostly lived like a guest. The fridge was my responsibility. The bills were mine. I chalked it up to friendship and history. But I didn't realize how deep the entitlement ran. When COVID hit, I lost a close family member and was emotionally wrecked. Jason was there, in his own way, quiet, non-judgmental, sitting on the couch while I stared blankly at the TV. But he never offered help with anything practical. Not food, not cleaning, not expenses. He expected me to hold the world up like always. And I did, because I didn't want to lose the only friend who'd known me longer than my beard. Then last year, something shifted. The shift began when I met Amanda. She's 29, smart, steady, emotionally grounded, the kind of woman who doesn't fall for charm over character. We met through mutual friends, and from the first date, I felt something rare. She didn't just get me, she challenged me. We moved slowly, cautiously, both of us veterans of emotional burnouts. After a year of dating, we talked seriously about living together. And that's when I realized I couldn't build a future with her while dragging Jason behind me like emotional baggage. I told Jason, gently but firmly, that Amanda and I were moving in together. And that meant he needed to move out. I gave him 90 days. I offered to help him with first month's rent somewhere, even drive him to viewings. He didn't yell or explode. He nodded, tight-lipped, and said, "Sure, man, I get it." But his behavior shifted overnight. Suddenly, he wasn't home much. When he was, he barely spoke. He left dirty dishes in the sink, turned off the AC during heat waves to save money, and muttered sarcastic comments when Amanda visited. One day, she brought a tray of muffins she baked, and he said, "Wow, domestic already. Hope you got a prenup." She laughed awkwardly. I didn't. The final straw came a month before the move-out date. Jason asked me to co-sign on a lease, not just any lease, a loft in a newly renovated building in a trendy neighborhood. The rent was nearly $2,400 per month. He had no job. When I asked how he expected to pay for it, he said he was working on a podcast and had a Patreon idea. I told him I wasn't comfortable co-signing unless he had stable income. He said, "After all I've done for you, you won't even put your name on a piece of paper?" I almost laughed. "What have you done for me, Jason?" I asked. "Seriously, when have you had my back, financially or otherwise?" He didn't answer, just left the room. From that moment on, things deteriorated fast. He stopped speaking to Amanda entirely, stopped cleaning anything, started bringing strangers over, loud people, often drunk, who stayed till 3 or 4 a.m. One night, Amanda was over and we had to call the cops when someone he brought home wouldn't leave and started screaming in the hallway. That was it. I told Jason he had 10 days, not 30. I said I'd pay for an Airbnb if needed, but he had to be out. He packed his things, left without a word, and didn't speak to me for 3 months. Then, out of nowhere, he texted, "Hey, I'm in a tight spot. Any chance you could loan me $1,000 for rent?" I didn't answer right away. I showed Amanda the message. She said gently, "You know what you'll do. Just don't do it out of guilt." And the truth is, I did feel guilty. Guilty that I had more stability. Guilty that I had outgrown him. Guilty that my life was finally slowly falling into place, and his was still scattered like confetti from a party that ended years ago. But I also felt tired. Tired of being the safety net. Tired of playing father to a grown man. Tired of sacrificing peace to avoid confrontation. So I replied, "I can't help this time. I hope things work out, but I'm tapped out." His response was instantaneous and brutal. Jason's response hit me like a slap in the face. "Wow, after all the years I supported you emotionally, after I was there when your dad died, after I helped you through that breakup with Emily, after I gave you years of friendship, you can't float me a lousy grand? Bro, you've changed. Hope Amanda is worth it." I stared at the message, my fingers frozen above the screen. For a minute, I felt this horrible urge to justify myself, to remind him of all the rent I'd never collected, the meals I'd cooked, the emotional labor I'd shouldered. But then it hit me. He didn't forget those things. He just didn't count them. Because to Jason, support only goes one way, toward him. I didn't reply. A week later, I got a long email. Not from Jason, from his mother. Apparently, he'd moved back home and told her I'd abandoned him. She wrote a long, guilt-laced message about what true friendship looks like, and how I'd turned my back on someone in need. She said Jason was depressed, anxious, possibly suicidal, and I had cut him off for having bad luck. That one stung, because I know Jason struggles with his mental health. I've driven him to therapy. I've stayed up nights talking him down from panic attacks. I've walked that tightrope with him for years, always trying to support without enabling. And now, not only was I the villain, I was the cause of his pain. Amanda told me, "You are not his therapist. You are not his parent. You are not a bank. You are his friend." That used to mean something, but it doesn't mean sacrificing your future so he can keep avoiding his. It was the first time I saw it clearly. The relationship I thought was built on mutual support had quietly become a one-way faucet. When I had struggles, Jason was present, yes, but rarely helpful. He didn't drive me places, cover my meals, help me move, lend me money, call my mom when I went radio silent after my dad passed. He sat there, which sure has value, but it wasn't reciprocal. Over the next few months, word got around our social circle. Some friends took my side quietly. Others said I was being cold, that Jason was going through something and needed grace. I didn't argue. I just let time do its thing. I focused on Amanda, on work, on building a life that didn't revolve around crisis control. Then last month, Jason reappeared. Not physically, just on social media. He made a cryptic post. "Wild how some people only love you when they're winning. When you're down, they disappear. Stay woke, folks." A few of our mutuals liked it. One even commented, "You deserve better." I didn't reply. I didn't message him. I just muted the post and moved on. But even now, late at night when I walk through the quiet condo I used to share with him, that echo of our years together lingers. I hear the laugh tracks of old YouTube videos we'd watch while eating microwave burritos. I remember how he used to fall asleep on the couch halfway through every movie. I remember thinking, he's like a brother. And I wonder if maybe I really am the asshole. For drawing a line, for walking away, for deciding that being needed wasn't the same as being loved. Time moved on. Amanda and I eventually got engaged. Nothing flashy, just the two of us in a park where she first told me she loved me. We sent out announcements a few weeks later. Most people were thrilled. Jason didn't respond. I didn't expect him to, but I also didn't expect what happened next. A mutual friend, Greg, texted me one afternoon. "Hey, heads up, Jason's been talking. Said he raised you and now you're marrying Rich and pretending he never existed." I stared at the message in disbelief. Marrying Rich? Amanda is a school counselor. We have decent jobs, sure, but we budget like hell. What hurt more wasn't the lie. It was the implication that my success had nothing to do with my effort and everything to do with luck or leeching off others. As if my 60-hour work weeks, quiet sacrifices, years of delaying gratification, none of it counted because I wouldn't pay his rent anymore. I called Greg. We talked for 2 hours. I explained everything, honestly. Not to defend myself, but just to tell the damn truth out loud. Greg said, "I figured it was something like that. He makes it sound like you turned your back for no reason." And then he said something I won't forget. You always looked out for him. But at some point, man, he stopped looking out for you. That's not friendship anymore. That's a transaction. It hit me hard, not because it was new, but because it finally gave shape to the fog I'd been walking through. Jason wasn't a monster. He wasn't abusive. He wasn't evil. He was just lost. And sometimes, lost people anchor themselves to those who look steady, not to grow, but to avoid drowning alone. And that's what I had been to him for over a decade. A raft. But I'm not a raft. I'm a person. And I was tired of floating someone else who wouldn't even learn how to paddle. A week before the wedding, Jason messaged me again. Not to congratulate me, but to ask if he could swing by the reception, not as a guest, but to crash and hang out like old times. I kid you not, that's how he worded it. He said he missed me, missed us, and wanted to be there for the vibes. No RSVP, no apology, no acknowledgement of everything that had happened, just vibes. I didn't reply. The wedding came and went. It was small, perfect, emotional. My brother gave a toast that made everyone cry. Amanda looked like the sunrise. I didn't think about Jason once that day, not until the next morning when I got another message. This one was different. Look, man, I'm sorry. I messed up. I leaned on you too hard for too long. I didn't see it at the time, but I do now. I was scared and lazy, and I let you carry the weight. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for anything. Just wanted to say sorry. And that I miss my best friend. I stared at the screen for a long time. I felt nothing. Not anger. Not relief. Just this quiet emptiness, like a house you grew up in after it's been sold. Familiar, but no longer yours. I didn't respond. Not because I hate him, but because I finally understood. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are clarity. And clarity, when you've lived in chaos long enough, feels like freedom. So here I am, married, stable, still sometimes sad, still sometimes guilty. But also, okay. And I ask myself, AITA for refusing to help a friend again after years of being his lifeline? Or am I finally learning to stop setting myself on fire to keep someone else warm?